my background is in, well, construction of a sort, but generally big metals things that we then chucked into the sea. Our stuff didn't stay on land. But I am delighted to be here with you today. And I would like to thank BEST for inviting me to take part in this series of events. I want to thank Douglas and the whole team at BEST, who are valued partners in our work. I'm grateful for your energy, your enthusiasm, your collaborative efforts. I love that introduction, framing all of this inside the climate emergency and how urgent that is, with showing pictures of Scottish streets flooded, of our buildings and towns being affected by the climate emergency. BEST Fest is a fantastic opportunity for everyone in this sector to break through the barriers to achieving a net zero built environment. And I'm so glad that we're able to do that together. In Scotland and across the globe, as we've just seen, we are experiencing the devastating impacts that climate change is having on our people, our communities, and our environment. This is our climate and nature crisis. It's not something that's coming, it's something that's happening now. The opportunity is that we can take action right now, because the construction sector is in a time of transformation. This is the industry that delivers the very fabric of our society, from homes to hospitals, roads, bike lanes, railways, power networks, and schools. This is where the change is coming. Every single area of the economy needs this industry to grow, and this is the industry that provides that infrastructure that the economy needs to grow. That's why we're so pleased to be working collaboratively with you through the Construction Leadership Forum and to develop this Transformation Action Plan. So that's something we're developing together with you. It's so important to have all the voices in the room. And we've drawn members from that Construction Leadership Forum across industry, local authorities, trade bodies, unions, and the public sector. The first step was the Construction Accord produced last year, and that is a shared vision for the industry and public sector, and includes key principles such as fair work, net zero, and diversity. It sets the framework for future transformation and for the growth of the sector. It is these principles that will be implemented by the Transformation Action Plan to achieve the Scottish Government's vision of a green and growing economy. We launched the consultation on the plan this morning, so we really want to deliver a new deal for the construction sector, which will accelerate change, driving ongoing improvement and growth across Scotland. And I would all really encourage you to fill in that consultation. And that's true of many consultations, so you'll hear me as well when we're speaking with Sarah. As we move forward for this massive transformation that we need to do in our built environment, there'll be consultation after consultation coming through, and I know consultation fatigue can set in, but actually it's so important that we hear your voices. So whenever possible, please get online and do fill in. Don't feel you have to fill in every single bit of it. We read all of them and we take every response into account. Your voice matters there, so please do contribute to those. I'll kind of cover what we've achieved to date. And to address the challenges we've been talking about, we know that we need good data. And BEST has developed the Construction Data Dashboard for the CLF, which gives all the industry open access to the robust data that you need to inform and measure the impact of our work. With an aging workforce, the industry faces challenges in attracting and retaining qualified and skilled people. And the Accord aims to develop a pipeline of talent with both the capacity and competence for our current and future industry needs. The CLF recognizes this and in 2022 published the National Construction Equity and Inclusion Plan. The CLF also launched a pipeline forecast tool developed by Scottish Futures Trust, which gives visibility to more than 1,700 future projects over 40 public bodies, with a total value of £12.2 billion. Hopefully giving industry the visibility you need of that pipeline of projects so that you can plan and invest and bid. I urge you to utilize these tools in developing your businesses and your plans. I know construction is constantly adapting and modernizing, and I know that you're advancing innovative products and approaches. And that is why this sector has such a central role to play in transitioning to net zero. So if you want to make a real change in the fight against climate, you guys are in the right place. You're in the room where this is happening. Planning this transition is crucial to ensure that all the economic and social opportunities attached to net zero are fully realized. We often talk about the costs associated with going net zero or tackling the climate crisis, but let's make sure we grasp the opportunities to build a whole bunch of new infrastructure for the country, an opportunity to upgrade nearly every home in Scotland. That's enormous, and that's enormous opportunities for your businesses and for yourselves. Our world-first National Just Transition Planning Framework sets out our approach to manage these economic and social impacts. We're building on that by co-developing a just transition plan for the built environment and construction. So we're developing these just transition plans as we move away from fossil fuels, as Sarah has reminded us that we must. In each sector affected, construction, agriculture, so on, we're putting in place a plan to help us make that transition, so that we hear from you on how we do that in a just and fair way. Too many of our communities are still bearing scars from the last transition, when coal mines and so on were shut down without any plan in place for the future of the economy of those communities. And that is not what we're going to do this time. This time we're going to plan that transition and make it as fair as we absolutely can. Which is why co-design, working together, is at the heart of all of these plans. And we've been engaging with industry, workers, local authorities and trade unions and the public to identify the priorities for this just transition. And I really thank Best for all the work you're doing engaging with us and within the rest of industry. Here in Scotland, homes and workplaces account for around a fifth of our emissions, and we have to significantly reduce that. That's a big part of reaching net zero. It's not optional. Saving the planet isn't optional. We have to actually do this. So that's why our heat and building strategy set out our vision for decarbonising our building stock, including achieving an EPC-C equivalent rating by 2030 in most homes. You're going to have good luck upgrading my home. I live in a tenement flat. I can feel the drafts through the windows. So if anyone's got any ideas, I'm in, because I could really use it. We also need to significantly increase the number of clean heating systems installed every year, such as heat pumps and heat networks. We know these can be expensive for individual households, and helping people meet these costs is important, which is why, of all the UK nations, Scotland has the most generous funding package of grants and loans available to households who want and are ready to switch to climate-friendly heating. We've recently relaunched the Winter Home Scotland scheme with more funding and more help for poor households. Public support will continue to play a big part, and we're committed to investing at least £1.8 billion over the course of this Parliament. But of course, that's not enough money. The government can't do this on our own. We need to do it together. So this is the opportunity for us. And the benefits are enormous. Large numbers of high-quality jobs, well-insulated, efficient homes, and a reduction of our reliance on volatile fossil fuels. So we know the goals, we know the outcome we need to get to, and we know the opportunities there. In our heat and building supply chains delivery plan, we've set out how we're going to support the industry on that journey to get those outcomes. Our £17.6 million Green Heat Innovation Support Programme will support Scottish-based companies to develop ideas, introduce new products or processes to the market, and support collaboration. And I hope many of you will be able to benefit from that support programme. Many of the core trades and professions needed to support the transition already exist in the Scottish economy, and we need to develop them further through upskilling, making that easy for workers to do that upskilling while they're still maintaining their work or in flexible patterns. Suppliers and installers need clarity over the long term to give them confidence to invest in capacity, workforce, and skills, the key building blocks of a growing heat sector, which will support thousands of high-value jobs. We intend to consult this year on proposals designed to phase out fossil fuel heating and improve the energy efficiency of our existing homes and buildings. Meanwhile, our new build heat standard will ensure that all new buildings with a building warrant from the 1st of April 2024 are built with climate-friendly heating systems. We will also continue work to understand how a passive house equivalent will work in Scotland. As I've outlined, supporting Scotland's current and future workforce to develop green skills needed is an absolute priority for this government. We're currently reviewing our Climate Emergency Skills Action Plan that actually sits with me as the Minister for Green Skills, and we're updating that in line with our Green Industrial Strategy and our Rural Delivery Plan, so that those key areas of our economy, we understand the skills needed and how we're going to deliver those. Alongside green skills, we recognize the importance of research and innovation. And BEST is, of course, a great example of bringing together academic and industry expertise in areas of global importance. We're already seeing new technologies such as drones, exoskeletons, and robotics on site, improving productivity and, of course, health and safety. New materials are in development to reduce embodied carbon. Supported by BEST, innovative businesses like Kinotech are producing the world's first recycled brick. These are addressing challenges of decarbonizing the construction industry. We understand, and I absolutely understand, and my colleague Patrick Harvey, the Minister for Zero Carbon Buildings, understands that industry thrives on certainty. So I want to give more clarity to make sure business opportunities in net zero are fully realized, keeping revenue and jobs in Scotland, which is why we're developing our Green Industrial Strategy to show how Scotland will do this. We expect to set out our strategy by summer 2024, working closely with business and industry. I opened by reflecting on the scale of the challenge that we're facing and the need for urgent action. Government, of course, we have a leadership role, and I saw the slide out there. The second one was regulation and legislation. That's where we fit. I can see you all know it's important, we know it's important, not only to commit to that legislation and make sure that we have the certainty that you need, but to make sure it's developed in a way that it's going to be effective, it's going to do what we need it to do. But we can't do this on our own. And all of you here today are the ambassadors of the transition to net zero. Making it happen is not something for the future, it's happening right now, and you are all leading it. Our communities need construction work that will stand the test of time, even with the challenges of climate change, climate catastrophe bearing down on us. We need those new materials and sustainable solutions to take care of people and of planet. I'm so glad that you're all part of the journey today, and I want for your stories to reach as wide an audience as possible. But thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today, and I look forward to having a further chat now with Sarah, where I can put the script aside and just talk to you, which is much more fun.